Hey guys, it's Justin back with another video, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the thermostat on your 96 Honda Accord. Okay, so first thing for this job, what you want to do is locate where your thermostat is. In this case, in this 96 Honda Accord, it's located right back here, right in here. It's right behind the engine block on this car. And what you can also do is find your radiator, then follow this thick hose. It's the lower hose, I believe. Then follow it all the ways up. Then it'll lead right to this thermostat housing. Right in there. Okay, so today for this job, what you'll need is probably a pair of gloves, some safety glasses, a set of sockets. You'll need your new thermostat for your car, the right one for your car. You also need a ratchet, maybe a flathead screwdriver to pry some stuff off, your thermostat's gasket, or a gasket maker, thermostat's gasket. Then we should be good from here. You might also need some pliers, whatever ones you have, water pump pliers, needle nose pliers, whatever you have to take clamps off the hoses. And we should go from there. Okay, so you're located where your thermostat is, and there's a few things we want to get out the way before actually doing this job. We want to get this air intake out of the way. We want to unplug this connection right here, and we should be set from there. A nice open spot to get to the thermostat. For this connection right here, we really don't need to do much. Just squeeze the top in and it'll come right off. Then for this one either, yours will probably have a clamp on it. Mine did too, but I already took that off. This little tube right here, what you want to do is just slide it out like that so it won't be in the way. Then look for any more connections for this air intake to take off, and take them off so we can get this intake out of the way. So another connection you want to get off is this one right here. It's right on top of the intake. What you have to do is just kind of slide it off like that. Then I'll show you what to do from there. As you can see right here, I got this half of the intake off. So what it was on mine was this little clamp right here. It's a screw-in clamp. So all you have to do is unscrew this right here, then the clamp will become loose, and just wiggle it off right here, and it should come right off. Okay, just to let you know, these steps right now that I'm doing are completely optional. I'm just removing this intake to get more clearance to reach the thermostat so my job can be a whole lot easier. So right now, we're going to unscrew this half of the air intake, and there's these little bolts down there. I don't think you can see them, but they're kind of far down, and you want to remove those. Then this half of the intake will come off, leaving you a lot more clearance to work with the thermostat. So as you can see here, I have my ratchet with this nice long extension. You don't need an extension this long, but it'll just make the job easier for me. And then those little bolts down there are 8 millimeters. So you just want to get down there and screw them, and this half of the intake will come right off. It'll be nice if you have a magnet just in case you were to drop the bolts, but in this case I don't, so just be careful, make sure the bolts don't drop. Okay, so can't see it that well, but there's one of them. Put that somewhere safe. Then you can get started on this one on this side. This one isn't too hard to get to. So just get these bolts off. I'll show you what to do. Okay, just to give you a better view where that bolt is, it's right down there. As you can see, here's the intake. and just look right over it. Then the bolt should be right there, that 8mm. So just get down right there, take that out. We'll be on our way. As you can see now, I got the intake all the ways off, got it up. So just kind of work it through these connections. Make sure not to break any. And then just take it out. It'll give you a lot more clearance when working on the thermostat. So as you can see right here, got the whole thing out. Okay, so as you can see right here, I got the intake all the way out, and you can see how much more clearance it gives us to work on this thermostat right there. There's the housing. So all this clearance right there. As you can see, I have the air intake laying right there. And then we're going to get to work on this thermostat. And one thing to mention before actually working on it, if your radiator has fluid in it, you want to make sure you put a catch can under it, because once we undo this hose right here, some is going to fall out. And you don't want to get that on the road or anything, because it's bad for the environment. So we'll get to work on these bolts right here and show you where to go from there. Okay, so your intake's out of the way, and you want to get working on these bolts right here. First, we need to take off this clip right here. In this case, this radiator has fluid in it, so I'm going to go put some gloves on, then get some pliers on that clamp, take it off. Then the radiator fluid is going to fall down to the catch can I've placed below. Like I said before, you don't want that getting into the environment. It's very toxic. The needle nose pliers I was working with, they didn't want to press the clamp down, so what I did is got a really small 2-inch C-clamp, and I put it on the clamp. As you can see, it compressed the clamp, and then I'm able to take this hose off. So you want to watch out when you're taking this hose off. It could have fluid in it, so kind of work it off and lift it up so a bunch of fluid doesn't escape. As you can see, I'm lifting it up, putting it right there so no more coolant falls out. And as you can see right there, we have access to the thermostat now. All we need to do is take these bolts off. Okay, so we got the hose off. We want to loosen this bolt right here. Then there's probably some other bolts like right here, and then we'll have access to everything else on this thermostat. So I'm going to do this off camera because it's kind of hard to film while doing this. So just make sure you get all these bolts off, then I'll show you where to go from there. So after you got that bolt off and that one metal piece that you saw right there, I'm not sure if this is stock, it might be aftermarket, but it was to hold this tubing in place. So we got that off, and right under here there's this last bolt to the thermostat. We're going to take this one off, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so once you have the thermostat housing off, what you want to do is get in there with like a wire brush, get all the old corrosion and old rust in there, get it out. Just clean it up a little bit. Like just on the outside too. Just clean it up. As you can see right here, here's our old thermostat. As you can see, there's like corrosion on it. It's worn out, the gasket is. Then here's the new one. Here's a look at them side by side. You can see that this one looks much newer and cleaner. So we're going to install this now. You have your new thermostat. I showed you what the new and old one looks like, but here's the gasket. And what you want to do is make sure this notch right here is in the right place. So just kind of place it in there right. It's kind of hard to do through the viewfinder, but just set it in there good. Then as you can see, the notch is right there on the underside. Just look at the old gasket, compare, see if everything's right. And it looks good, so we'll install it now. We need to put the new thermostat in, and these two notches right there, they're gonna fit into place. As you can see right there, there's two holes for them right up top. So you just place this in there, twist it until it finds those notches, and then they're about right there. Seat it in there good, make sure it's nice and flush. Then we'll get the housing back on, screw everything back on, then we'll be set from there. Okay, so now we're going to get the thermostat housing back on. What you want to do is get it right here, line it up right, then hold it in place, and you want to hand tight this bolt back on. Make sure it doesn't fall because it'll probably disappear. So got it on. Going to tighten it up a little bit. If it wants to screw in there. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so you have that hand tight on. Then I'll show you what to do next. Snug that. So what you want to do is snug that bolt back on. And then see that bolt right under there? You want to put that in right now. Snug it up. And then we'll put that clip back on. Okay, so you got those bolts snugged on there. Those two bolts snugged on there pretty good. So what we're going to do is put this hose back on there. So set the camera down. Okay, so we're just going to get right in here and put this hose back on. Get it nice and snug in there. Pull this clamp back a little bit. Okay, it's nice and snug. I'm going to take my C-clamp off of there. In your guys' case, you probably had some pliers that work. It's nice and snug on there. Okay, after you get it snug on there, we'll go from there. What you want to do is snug this air intake back on right here. And then we're going to get all these connections back on. Like this one right here, this connection to your thermostat, and we should be good from there. We're going to tighten up that clamp, then I'll show you what to do after that. So this hose right here, we're just going to put that back on right there. This connector right here to the thermostat, we're going to seat that back in there, get it nice and connected. This hose right here too on the intake, we're gonna push it all the ways in there, get it nice and snug. Make sure there's no room right there. Put this little hose over that. And one thing you want to do is make sure you get these two bolts back in that hold in the intake, and you will be good from this little connection right here that we had took off earlier. I placed it back here for safekeeping. So just get it, make sure it's in right, snap it back in, make sure it snaps. Then we should be good from there. You got your new thermostat in. You want to drive your car around, see if it runs good. Make sure you top off your radiator for all the fluid that came out previously. And watch the temperature gauge. Like, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys next time.